Welcome to KCPE Science. Now, question 1 says food nutrients and oxygen are carried to the fetus by. Now, um, we'll have several options here, but in order to explain this question better to you, now you can see from this diagram, this is the placenta. This place is the placenta. Now, I want you to know the placenta is responsible for providing the food while the food goes through the umbilical cord. You can see the umbilical cord carrying the food to the baby. Okay, then from there we can look at our option again. You can now see that the correct option is actually the umbilical cord. The amniotic fluid is actually the fluid that surrounds the baby in the womb. Okay, then the uterine wall is the wall in which the baby stays. Now, that's the correct answer, which is going to be B. So question 2 says the diagram below represents a type of root system. Now, when you want to get this, you're talking about root systems. Okay, so you can see this is a root system for a plant like maize and other cereals. So it's cereals that have this type of root system. Now you can see the one that contains cereal all through, it's option D. So the correct answer is D. So that takes us to question 3, which says which of the following parts of human breathing system initiates movement of air into the nose? Now, in breathing, there are you have inhaling air and exhaling air. Now, when you are taking air out of your system, like remember the question says which of the following parts of human breathing system initiates the movement of air into the nose? So what initiates movement of air into the nose is actually the diaphragm. The diaphragm can contract and expand. So in doing that, it can initiate movement of air into the nose. So the correct answer here is C. Now question 4 says which of the following weather instruments is correctly matched to its use? Now let's start from D. It says rain gauge to measuring temperature. You know, for measuring temperature it's supposed to be thermometer, so this is not matched. D is not matched. Thermometer, it says measure amount of rainfall. It's a rain gauge that measures the amount of rainfall, so this does not match. Now, a windsock helps you to measure wind, speed, and direction of wind. So this is correct. Why wind vane measures only the direction of wind. So this is wrong. So the correct answer here is option B, because the windsock can measure the direction as well as the speed of a wind. So that takes us to question 5, which says which one of the following which one of the following pairs of concentrates provides animal with energy? So now you can see bone meal is not for energy, so bone meal is out of it because it's in B and D. Salt licks, it's not for energy, it's more for minerals. Why? Maize germ and sunflower seeds are the one that provides energy for the animals. So the correct answer there, it's going to be option C. Question 6 says the following are possible food combinations: rice, watermelon and spinach, chapati, kale and meat, chapati, beans and Irish potatoes, ugali, kale and fish. Now, the combinations that have a balanced diet. Now, the first thing you need to know that a balanced diet should have, you should have your carbohydrates, you should also have your protein, you should have your fats and oil, you should also have minerals, you should have vitamins and water. So virtually, now from here you can see rice is going to give you carbohydrate. Watermelon and spinach are more for vitamins and minerals. Now you can see option I does not provide proteinous food, so that's out. Now chapati, it's more of a carbohydrate food. Then kale provides vitamins and minerals, while the meat provides can provide proteinous, and also can also provide you with fats and oil. So I think from here this is a complete combination. Then from here we have chapati, which is more of a carbohydrate. We have beans, which is proteinous, and Irish potatoes, which can provide also fats, but we don't have vitamins and minerals. But here kale can provide minerals and vitamins. Fish can provide you with protein and also fats and oil, while garlic can also provide you with carbohydrates. So this is correct. So from here you can see that II and IV is the correct answer. So we are going to circle option C. So question 7 says, which one of the following has the greatest effect on formation of gullies on the farm? Now, formation of gullies, type of soil does not really affect it, soil cover doesn't affect it, organic matter doesn't affect it, but sloppy land, a land that is sloppy, will definitely make gullies to start forming, because it will cause erosions, and then while the water is wearing out the surfaces because it is gully, then this will now the water will be erasing out the top surface of the soil because it is gully. Therefore it will have the greatest effect on formation of gully. That's a sloppy land. Question 8 says the following are ways of conserving water. Now you can conserve water by recycling, you can conserve water by reusing, you can conserve water by harvesting. Now in order to harvest water is to take a large storage, drums and some other containers to store water. But filtering does not conserve, is not a method of conserving water. So the correct answer here is B. Question 9 says the following are source of electricity except we have A, diesel engine, B, bicycle dynamo, C, car battery, and D, solar cells. Now a bicycle dynamo can help you produce electricity because it's connected with alternator. You remember when you drive a bicycle, there's a headlamp on top of it. Now the mechanical energy is converted, that's a bicycle dynamo. While you're moving your bicycle, it can generate electricity and put on the light. Then the car battery, you know your car battery. Once you put in your car battery, you can get direct current from your car battery. Solar cells too are used for source of electricity. But a diesel engine can also get you, you can use it to generate power, but it's not a conventional way, it's not a clean source of energy. So the correct answer here it's a diesel engine. Okay, so question 10 says which one of the following does not lead to pollution of the environment? Now when animal urinates in water ponds, it corrupts, it pollutes the water, and it's not good for drinking. When vehicle produces smoke, you inhale carbon monoxide, which is hazardous to your health. Now when you spray pests, spraying pests with pesticide is also harmful, and it also pollutes the environment. But when a plant rotting inside the forest, it decays and turns to manure, and it does not harm the environment. Rather, it helps plants and crops to grow better. So the correct answer here is C. Question 11 says the diagram below shows change of state of matter with the processes involved marked I to IV. Now it wants us to identify the correct identities. Now let's start. When you have a liquid going to solid, when you have water becoming ice, is called what? Freezing. So this process is called freezing. Now when you have a liquid, you're boiling water and it becomes vapor, you call this evaporation. Okay? When you have gas becoming liquid, this is called condensation. Okay? That you have a vapor and it becomes liquid. Now when you have when you have an ice becoming water, it's called what? Melting. So with this, we have I to be freezing, II to be evaporation, we have III to be condensation, and IV to be melting. So the correct answer is A. So I'll mark my A. So question 12 says, which one of the following simple machine is the most suitable for lifting water from a well? Now, you can't use ladder to lift water from a well. That's very risky. You can use a cart, you can use a seesaw. The best option for lifting water in a well is a fixed pulley. You connect a fixed pulley on top of the well, just like the one in this picture. So you can see this is a fixed pulley. This is a well, and this is the bucket. So the pulley is fixed, and while pulling the machine, you can draw out water from the well. Okay, so question 13 says, which one of the following pair of crops is correctly matched to its group? Now, tea is not a food crop, so it's not matched correctly. Cassava is not it's not a cash crop. Beans is actually a food crop, while coffee is a cash crop. So I think the correct answer here is already B. So it's correctly matched. Question 14 says, which one of the following pairs of mammals lay eggs? Now, recall that whale, it's a mammal, but it does not lay egg, so it's not. Then we have whale here, so that option is also wrong. Now, crocodile is actually a reptile, but it lays eggs, so it's not a mammal. So the correct answer is spiny anteater and duck-billed platypus. So these are mammals that lay eggs. So the correct answer is C. Question 15 says, the following is as a result of not taking care of teeth, except now when you don't take care of your teeth, you have chances of forming cavities. So that's not the answer. You can have bleeding gums, you can have bad breath, but shedding of teeth. Now, shedding of teeth is actually what happens to 6 to 7 years old, where their teeth keeps falling off to grow the matured teeth, like their teeth fall off, so that the permanent teeth can now come to place. So the correct answer here is D. So it's not as a result of not taking care of teeth, it happens to every individual. Question 16 says, which one of the following consists of artificial source of light? Now, artificial source of light, sun is a natural source of light, so that's not the option. B is out of it. Now, matches is artificial, kerosene lamp is artificial, but glowworm is a natural source of light, so it's not artificial. Now, torch is made by man, is artificial. Candle is made by man, is artificial. Kerosene lamp is made by man. So the correct answer here is going to be D. Question 17 says, which one of the following methods of preserving food is suitable for grains? Now, one of the best ways to preserve your grains is to dry it. So when you dry it in the sun, you preserve it. Salting does not do that. Freezing will spoil it. Use of honey can also spoil it. So the correct answer here, it's drying in the sun. Question 18 says, the following are ways in which water is used for recreation, except now swimming is a recreation activity. You use water. Irrigation is for farming. So I don't think this is a recreational activity. Rather, this is an agricultural activity. Surfing, yes, you can surf with your skateboard on water. Then you can sport fishing. So the correct answer here is irrigation. So irrigation is excluded because it's a farming activity. Now, question 19 says, which one of the following consists of matter that has a definite mass, indefinite shape, and indefinite volume? Now, I want you to know that the matter that has a definite mass, indefinite shape, and indefinite volume is gas. Now, why do I say so? Gas takes the volume of the shape of their container. Like air can only take the shape of the container when you put it in that container, but Otherwise, air has no definite volume and has no definite shape. So everything you should have in your option here should be a gas. Now, water vapor is a gas. Air, it's gas. Smoke is gas. So the correct answer here is A. So I'll circle my A. Now let's see why other options are wrong. Smoke is gas, but wood is solid. So this is wrong. Water vapor is gas. Ice is solid. So this is wrong. Air is gas. Toothpaste is solid. So this is wrong. So our correct answer still stands with A. Question 20 says, the diagram below represents a simple electric circuit. The energy transformation that takes place in this circuit is, now first of all, let's look at the circuit. Now this is a battery. Now what happens in the battery? Battery generates what we call chemical energy. So now this chemical energy can generate electricity that now moves through the wire, which now generates, this is now called electrical energy. So electrical energy moves through the wire and down to, now notice this is a magnetic bar and these are electromagnets. Now this is now what? Magnetic energy, creating a force field around the magnet. So this is magnetic energy. So you can see we have chemical to heat. No, that's the wrong answer. Now we have chemical to electrical. So the correct answer here, it's D. So I'll mark my D. Option B and C are actually wrong answers. Question 21 says, which one of the following statements is true about veins? They're all. Now, veins carries deoxygenated blood from all parts of the body to the heart. Now, they carries blood away from the heart. No, this is wrong because arteries are the ones that carries blood from the heart to away from the heart to other parts of the body. They carry oxygenated blood. No, arteries are the ones that carry oxygenated blood because the blood coming from the heart carries oxygen. They have thick walls. No, they don't have thick walls. Now, they carry blood under low pressure. This is correct. The reason why this is correct is because they are carrying blood from other parts of the body down to the heart. And the blood coming from other parts of the body are blood that does not contain oxygen. So they carry deoxygenated blood. So the correct answer is A. So they carry the blood under low pressure because the blood does not contain oxygen. Question 22 says, a class 7 people wanted to investigate the property of soil using the following materials: dry soil, water, and glass jar. The property of soil being investigated was that the soil has A. Organic matter, B. Minerals, C. Living organisms, and D. Air. Now, when you carry this apparatus to investigate the property of a soil, now the correct answer here is it's air, and I'm going to explain the experiment. Now, to investigate air, you carry dry soil, you pour the soil inside the glass jar, then you pour water inside the glass jar. And when you pour your water inside the glass jar, you are going to see, this is your soil, you are going to see bubbles of water, bubbles of air coming out, and that confirms to you that dry soil contains air. So that is the explanation of that. Now, question 23 says, a person has the following signs and symptoms: coughing, weight loss, chest pain, sweating at night, spitting blood. Now, which one of the following disease was he likely to be suffering from? So here, based on the symptoms you've seen, for malaria, you know malaria symptoms, fever, and just slight headache. It doesn't come with coughing and weight loss. Now, for typhoid, cold, and just, I don't think it comes with weight loss and coughing. Now, for cholera comes with vomiting, diarrhea, but tuberculosis, For tuberculosis, it comes with coughing, weight loss, chest pain, sweating at night, and spitting blood. So the correct answer here is tuberculosis. Question 24 says a plant was observed twined around the stem of another plant. This plant is dependent on the order for. Now, when a plant that is growing twines around another, it is trying to get support. So the correct answer here is support, which is A. Question 25 says the following are disadvantages of hard water except. Now, hard water forms scum with soap. It does not lather, so that's a disadvantage. It forms scalars in boilers. Yes, scalars in boilers. Yes, you will see a whitish substance in your kettle. It also stains your clothes. But one of the advantages of hard water is it contains important minerals, which include CaCO3, the calcium carbonate. Okay, so the next question here, it's 26, and it says, which one of the following disease is a child immunized against at birth? Now, at birth, you immunize them against polio and tuberculosis. All the other ones are given after a certain time that the child has lived, but at birth, polio and tuberculosis are the major immunization that takes place. Now, question 27 says a pupil observed that by placing the hands directly above a candle, the hands felt hot. The heat from the candle reached the hands by. Now, this is my candle. Now, this is my flame. Now, when you place your hand by the side, this is your hand, okay? Now, without having your hand directly, you feel heat. This heat goes to it by radiation. But when you place your hand on top, so you feel heat by convection, so which is the hotness of the fluid. So you feel heat by convection. So the correct answer is convection. But if your hand is by the side, then it's by radiation. So question 28 says, the diagram below represents the human female reproductive system. Which female reproductive system with parts labeled K, L, M, and N? Now, K, from this diagram, if you know about this diagram, this is called the ovary. Now, N, it's actually the vagina. Okay, so this is M is actually so M is going to be the uterus. Okay, so while L, okay, L it's now the oviduct, okay, which is the duct. Okay, so that means from here you can see that from here our correct option K, it's ovary, L, it's oviduct, M is uterus, and okay, so the correct answer is D. So that'll take us to the next question, which is the diagram below represents detached part of a flower. Now, if you study a flower diagram, this is actually the male reproductive organ, which is the stamen. Okay, why this is the female reproductive organ, which is called the pistil. Okay, so the correct answer here is B. Question 30 says the correct procedure of separating a mixture of sand and salt is. Now, in order for you to separate sand and salt, first of all, you need to understand that you need to pour water inside the sand and salt to dissolve it. So you dissolve it in water. When you dissolve it in water, then you filter the water out. After filtering the water out, you can now evaporate the water to get the salt. So the correct answer here is C, based on the process of separation. Question 31 says, the following are statements made by pupils about HIV/AIDS during discussions. AIDS results from breaking taboos. AIDS result may be transmitted by sex workers. AIDS is caused by HIV. HIV-looking people may be HIV infected. Healthy-looking people may be HIV infected. Sharing utensils may lead to HIV infection. Which one of the following consists of the correct statement? Now let's examine the statement. AIDS results from breaking taboos. This is wrong. AIDS can be transmitted via sex. This is correct. AIDS is caused by HIV. This is correct. Healthy-looking people may be HIV infected. This is correct. Sharing utensils may lead to HIV infection. This is wrong. So from here, I is wrong. So since I is in the option, I and IV is correct. So oh, sorry, this it's V is wrong. So since V is here, so this is wrong. Then we'll have I and IV, which is correct. I is here, so this is wrong. So the correct answer is C. Which one of the following actions reduces friction? Treading of tires doesn't reduce friction. Putting new soles doesn't. Putting muram on earth but when you place a roller under a moving object, it reduces the friction by allowing the object to move freely because of the balls between the object and the earth. So the correct answer here is D. So roller bearings, you use it to reduce friction. Question 33 says, which one of the following is an adaptation of plants which grows in soils that lack adequate nitrogen? Now, example of plants that lack adequate nitrogen is the Venus. It's the Venus flytrap. Okay, these plants don't have adequate nitrogen, so what they do is they eat insects. They feed on insects so that they can extract nitrogen from the insect. So another example is also the pitcher plants. So plants that lack adequate nitrogen rather feed on insects to get their basic nitrogen requirements. Question 34 says, which one of the following components of the environment is found everywhere? The correct answer is air. Air is found everywhere. 35 says, the diagram below represents an observation made when a pencil was put into water in a transparent container. Which one of the following statements correctly explains the observation? So it says light A bounces back on hitting the surface, is refracted. Now, when you put any object on a beaker, a transparent beaker, you notice that object is bent. Okay? That object looks bent. This is as a result of refraction. So the correct answer here is B. You'll be thinking that the object is bent, whereas it is not bent. It is because of the refraction moving from air to water. There is a refraction. So since the refraction happens, it causes the object to look bent in the water. Now question 36 says, the chart below shows weather changes on different days as recorded by class 3 pupils. Now the best day for winnowing. Now recall that winnowing, it's using air, maybe a windy day, a day that has a lot of wind, to separate chaffs for cereals and other types of crops. So if you watch the graph, you can see there's rain here, there's rain here. Here is cloudy, it's not really windy, but if you watch it, this is winds, like trees bending, and there's a sunny day. So winnowing it's best on a Wednesday. So the correct answer is Wednesday. Question 37 says, water source can be contaminated directly by, okay, so direct contamination, farm chemicals does not contact water directly. Exhaust fumes and farm chemicals does not. Aerosol sprays and raw sewage, but raw sewage and oil spillage, these ones have direct impact on water. because the oil spillage goes directly to the water. Same thing applies to raw sewage. Syphilis is in the same category of disease as now. Syphilis is actually a sexually transmitted disease. Now, typhoid is not sexually transmitted, so typhoid and cholera is not in the same category with syphilis. Cholera is also here, no. Typhoid is here, but gonorrhea and chancroid are in the same category with syphilis because they are what? Sexually transmitted disease. Question 39 says the following practices are not safe when dealing with electricity except. So let's check out the options. When you connect many appliances to a socket, it's not safe. The reason is because you can exceed the amount of current that is supposed to flow in the socket and it could lead to burning, it could lead to fire. Putting metallic objects in socket can get you short, so it's not safe. Putting on switches with wet hand, you could collect some electric shock because of your hand. Water is a good conductor of electricity and it can get you shocked. Ensuring that the wires are insulated. Now, insulating a wire is it's a safe method, of electricity because it protects you from the wire and does not allow you to get shocked. Insulation, it's covering the naked wires with a rubber-like materials, thereby protecting you from getting shocked. Now, question 40 says, the diagram below represents a type of human tooth. The function of the tooth is, now, when you look at the tooth, you know this tooth has the shape of a knife. So, therefore, it is used for tearing. Use it for tearing. Question 41 says, the following are signs and symptoms of a certain nutritional deficiency: dizziness, body weakness, pale gums and fingernails, difficulty in breathing. Now, when you look at these symptoms, you can guess what the problem is. This person is actually, because of pale gums and fingernails, this person is actually suffering from anemia. Okay? So, which pair of food can be used to prevent this? And you can know you need more minerals and vitamins, which include spinach, and you need protein, that's liver kind of protein. So the correct answer is B. So when you eat liver and spinach, it cures you from anemia. Question 42 says the flow chart below shows a simplified classification of crop pests with examples represented by P and Q. Now, these are crop pests, these are field pests, while these are storage pests. Now, an example of field pest is stalk borer, YP. Okay, so I think weaver bird is a field pest. Now, on storage pests, we have weevil. Okay, so and I think rat is also a storage. Rat is a storage pest. We have weaver here, but aphid is not a storage pest. So the correct answer here is A. So you know the difference between storage pest and field pest. Storage pests are pests that attack crops that have been stored, while field pests operate in the farm. They are in the farm and they attack the crops at the farm. Question 43 says the following were used to investigate a factor that affects sinking and floating: water in a basin, metallic tops, and a hammer. Now, the factor investigated was, now, if you are performing this experiment, you put the metallic tops on top of the water without hitting them, and you find out that they are floating. But when you use your hammer and nail and change the shape of the object, you will notice that it will sink. Now, the factor investigated was shape of the object, which is D. Now, question 44 says, the following are some common practice. These are the practice. Which two practices will help control human intestinal worms? Now, you know, when we eat things that are bad, we can eat worms that will affect us. Now, how can we prevent this? Washing hands after eating? No, this does not. Washing fruits before eating. Yes, some fruits contain some worms, so washing them before eating can prevent you from getting those worms. Cleaning hands after visiting the toilet. Yes, the toilet, if you don't wash your hands after visiting the toilet, you can get that. Eating a balanced diet, no, cannot make you get human intestinal worms. So the correct answer is I and I. So the correct answer here is option D. So now take us to question 45, which says the main role of clay lining in an improved GCO. The essence of the clay lining is just to help you reduce heat loss. So we normally coat it with clay lining to just avoid heat loss in our GCO charcoal stove. Okay, so question 46 says, which one of the following practices will help control the spread of HIV from an infected mother to a baby at birth? Now, testing, if you test the mother and counsel her, you can prevent deaths. Okay, so testing and counseling. So question 47 says the diagram below represents a setup labeled arrow S and T used to investigate drainage in soils collected from different places. From the result of the investigation, the soil that can be used to make ribbons is now. Soils used to make ribbons are soils that can hold water. Now, from this experiment, you can see the water level here. You can see the water level here, and you can see the water level. That means the soil here cannot hold water. The soil here has a little strong capacity of holding water, while the one here can retain more of the water. So the correct answer is T only, because C has a higher water retaining ability, so it's the best soil for making ribbon. Question 48 says the function of topmost soil in a compost manure heap is to. Now, at the top, when you have manure heaped, you have microorganisms on top of there. So the topmost part of the soil introduce microorganisms that will help decompose the manure heap to make it become manure. So that will take us to question 49, which says the diagram below represents the human digestive system, which with section labeled X. Now X is actually the large intestine, and it's for absorbing water and mineral salts. So the correct answer is B. Question 50 says a single fixed pulley makes work easier by. Now, how does the easy single fixed pulley, just like your pulley that draws water out from your well, it just changes the direction. So one direction is drawing the water out of the well, you point it to another direction where the effort is. So it changes the direction of the effort, then as easy as that, it pulls out the water. So thank you for staying with us for the KCPE Science 2021 past question. Now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can get more videos from us.